are live on the YouTube portion of this little pre-show shenanigans. Welcome, welcome.
I'm getting the tweet ready.
Yes. I will get ready to retweet the said tweet. Oh man. I did do a little bit of cleaning down here today too, actually. Which is I'm just gonna have the green screen actually to the side, but it's still not to my likings. But yeah, it's not as you can kind of walk in the front end of the basement. So getting there slowly but surely. I decided to take advantage of this beautiful day and stay inside and work in the basement.
There you go. That's how you do that. All right, it is tweeted. Oh, so much feedback from the phone. Jesus. All right, so this is going to be a completely fly by the seat of our pants episode because I did listen to the playlist a long time ago, and again, I don't know if I did or not. It's been so long ago. I don't remember if I did.
I don't remember.
Oh well, fuck it.
But let me just test out here to make sure Audacity is working correctly. I'm getting a signal and some waveform activity on my end. Brandon, can you say hello?
What's going on, man?
Yes, I am seeing your waves there.
Do my waves look good?
They look fantastic.
Good.
So let's put that here. Let's stop that. Let's close that. All right, I am going to hit record. We'll take our 5 seconds. I guess I'll bring it in. I guess, unless you want to.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get up the chat real quick. Just in case somebody stops by the chat.
You can do that. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Playing with my microphone.
Okay, cool. Everything's all nice and set now.
All right. We will take a 5-second pause. And again, do you want me to bring it in or do you want to have the honor?
You got it.
All right. Here we go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Smoothie. But of course, welcoming you to episode number 28, the long overdue episode of the Unknown Podcast. As you may be viewing us here tonight on the YouTube, you may only notice it's just two of us. I am joined with our good friend Brandon, aka Captain Howdy. How are you doing to this evening, Brandon?
Doing pretty good, man. Finally back to doing a podcast. That was way too long of a break.
Yeah, well, it was about a month. I'm guessing
somewhere
around there. I can't remember the last time we did it, and you happened to mention it in the chat earlier this week, and
remember when we did a podcast? It was just bad timing because I built a new computer and I was like super happy to start using it for the podcast, and then we didn't podcast for a month.
Yeah. Such is life. But it feels good to be back. It was a little learning curve, even opening up and trying to get everything set up and running once again. But we found our way, and here we are.
Learning curve over here because I'm getting used to Windows again, and it's not been super easy. So,
but how's it feel to be back to the dark side, if you will?
It doesn't feel great because everything I've tried to do so far has been a huge pain in the ass. And I know that that's just kind of the way of things, like until you get it all working and shit. But the beginning stages have been terrible. Like with switching my hard drives from Mac back to Windows was a terrible, terrible, terrible process. So I lost a bunch of Howdy Inc. shit. Gone forever. So I'm sad about that.
Ooh, that kind of sucks. So it was all like... Was it in the formatting that it just drop it, or like did it get lost in translation? I guess
I had to use a program that would read the Mac hard drive, and then use it to import to a Windows drive, because you can't just do that natively through Windows. There's no option for Windows to read a Mac formatted drive. So I had to use this third party thing. I can't blame the third party thing on this, actually, because I should have double checked what copied over better than what I did before I deleted the source folder. And I did on everything else, but somehow the Howdy Inc. folder had a little chunk of it that did not get copied over. And it wasn't anything super important. It was like the project files for everything that we've done in the last year or two, which sounds like a lot, but like at least I still have like the final product MP3 of this and Howdy radio, and that's really all that matters. So
Yeah, I mean, I've done that when I've gone through when I've noticed my hard drive's filling up here. I've gotten rid of all. Like I don't typically save the project files. I even
yeah. See,
feel
I'm
like
weird. I've kept everything. I've kept like every little clip before it was all clipped together, and I know I don't need that shit, but whatever. I mean, now it's gone. It's gone. Whatever.
I mean, some of it is like definitely in regards to your Howdy and stuff, especially older stuff. It's like it's memories.
Hmm.
It's that time when
Yeah.
you're like babyface Brandon and babyface Scott, making silly
Hmm.
Howdy pitch
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that.
I try to
Um,
keep as much of everything that we've done, every little piece of it, because why
it,
not? I mean, why not?
well, it's good to have that that historical documentation
Hmm.
and but for me, like I don't have really any emotion like the videos and like stuff I've made. Like I've deleted all my old
Gotcha.
videos that are on the channel because it's just stuff I put together. I have what I want
Yeah.
from that, and I still have a lot of videos just to go through. But the specific ones I was holding on to an archive, and I'm like, why am I? They're on YouTube. I can read down if I
Mhm.
need them at some point. So
Yeah.
uh,
I just realized we're 5 minutes in and we didn't talk about what we're drinking.
we didn't. We didn't. Wow. This is the new format, everyone. We
Yeah.
have a little discussion. So, well, first and foremost, do we got? Are we doing our standard shot for the
Got
evening?
it.
All right. I have a fireball in this little plastic cup. It's probably more than a shot here. I don't.
There you go.
One day I'll get a real shot glass or something. So,
Yeah. I
um,
realized I have like 25 shot glasses in my cabinet. Just a few days ago, I learned that. And that's not an exaggeration.
so when you get around to sending out those chips, you can
Drink the shot. Take a shot.
okay.
Oh, those stupid chips. I don't even want to talk about them.
Hey, well, I was gonna say you can throw in a shot glass in mine, and then we'll make it.
What are you drinking beer wise? Are you drinking beer?
I am drinking a beer.
Are you drinking a Four Loco?
No, I drank that earlier. It was disgusting. It wasn't
Was it the
good.
watermelon one? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I wanted to try it. I've never had that was my first Four Loco, and
Ever?
yeah,
Out of
and
any flavor?
any flavor. I'm fairly certain this is the only one I've ever
I
had.
think we have had that conversation before.
I had like I was mentioning in the chat. I had I guess last year, probably a year now. I had one of the Natty Rushes, which was a watermelon one that tasted. I mean, it tasted like more like sugary and like a Kool-Aid type drink, what I was looking for. This is just it was a weird
Yeah.
mix. I mean, I had to put it over ice, and that kind of made it a little more bearable. I
Oh
mean,
God.
I'm not watering down 12% alcohol too much with some ice. So
12% is what it is.
yeah. So
Right on.
but in terms of beer, I'm drinking another Guinness Extra Stout. I like these things. Probably the only one I have for the evening.
Gotcha.
Uh, so
I've
what do
got
you?
one that I brought back from a trip that we made to Michigan last week. I wanted to buy something local. So this is Arbor Brewing Company, which is somewhere in Michigan, and it's called Liquid Vinyl. So of course, that is what drew me to it. And it's an Imperial Russian Stout, 10% alcohol. So it
Nice.
is a super thick, heavy beer. And I had two of them, and I brought two of them home, and they're good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.
That's good stuff. So yeah, how was the trip to
I,
Michigan.
I fulfilled the lifetime dream of going down Military Street because of the ICP song.
Yes, I was very
So
happy to see those pictures posted.
when me and my friends went to the gathering in 2000, that was pre GPS, so like we didn't know where we were going. And we stopped at a gas station and asked somebody for directions to Military Street because we wanted to go check it out. And the guy that was working at the gas station like felt bad sending four like 18-year-old kids to Military Street because it was such a bad part of the neighborhood. He's like in good conscience, like I can't tell you how to get there, and he didn't tell us how to get there.
That's
So we're
pretty
like,
cool, but it's tough
yeah.
at the same time.
So we were like, all right, if that dude doesn't want to give us directions, then we should not go. And we did not go. But now that me and my family were on a family road trip,
There you go.
and now we have GPS, we drove down Military Street and I took a picture, and nobody got shot or died or anything. So
It was the daytime, right?
yeah, it was the daytime.
It seemed nice if I remember from the pictures, nice and sunny. So
Yeah, but it
probably
was definitely a shitty neighborhood, no doubt about it.
I was because
But
my
not the
next
shittiest of the neighborhoods that we like drove through. That was definitely shittier than that, no doubt about it.
well, I was wondering if that was one of what's the big word now, the gentrification where they kind of clean everything up. I was wondering if by
Yeah.
now that's been done, but it still seems to be the same.
There is, I mean, there's some really cool parts of Detroit. There's like a little hipster district, just like we have here in Cincinnati, which is pretty cool. But there is still just a lot of just whole neighborhoods that are just empty, and like one or two people like live in it, and it's creepy because there's like still one or two people that live there. Like there's still cars like in that one driveway. It's fucking weird. It's terrible. It really is.
That's crazy. So I mean, it definitely seems like you had a good time anyway with that.
Yeah, we did. It was still a fun trip. We found cool shit to do. We went foaling. Did you see the foaling thing that Liz posted on Facebook?
I don't.
So you know the game cornhole? That's a big thing in Cincinnati. I hope it
Yeah.
is. And okay, all right.
Beanbag toss cornhole. Yeah.
Yep. So picture that, but instead of like a hole in the board on each side, it's bowling pins. And instead of bean bags, it's a football. So you are throwing across the lane a football to knock over the bowling pins on the other side. And it's crazy. And it was really fun and
I don't.
hard.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. I'll have to go back and look that. I mean, so is it in like what you would say a bowling alley? I mean,
It is a lot. One thing that they do in Detroit now that I'm like noticing is that there's so many old like warehouse buildings that have gone out of business over the years. So now there's people that's coming in like foaling, and they buy out this old warehouse that has no use for anything else, and they turn it into something cool like this. So at least it's like a cool like reuse of something.
that is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the thing that where ICP did Hallowicked last year was at a venue in Detroit that was an old warehouse turned music venue that I thought was really cool too.
Awesome. So I'm still trying to the full. So was it? Because I know cornhole, it's, two teams.
Yeah.
So is it the same two
Mhm.
sided, or so you're throwing back and forth?
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, two-sided. So we did parents versus kids. We did a 2 out of 3 of parents versus kids. But it's cool too because like it's crazy because there's like 10 of these lanes like in a row, and we were like basically like right in the middle of all of them. And so everybody's balls going everywhere, and like that's kind of part of the fun is like grabbing the ball and like throwing it back to somebody. And it's set in house rules is that if any ball comes and knocks over pins on your lane, then they are knocked over. And
That's awesome.
it said you can change the rules, of course, if you want to set back up pins, you can. But if something gets knocked over, it's knocked over and it's out of play.
Now, does it count for scoring purposes or no?
Yeah, because it's just like once you get a strike and all the pins are down, then that team wins. Then
That's awesome because you can have
yeah,
so much fun just being a dick to to somebody else.
But it is hard too, though. Like when you get down to the end and there's like 1 or 2 pins left, throwing a football like that accurate at that far is hard. Like you got to be like you got to have a decent arm to do that.
So now is it straight? It's not slanted like a cornhole board is, right? You're throwing
Correct.
it straight on.
Yeah, correct. It's like it is elevated, but it is not slanted like a cornhole board is.
That seems, and they're legit like bowling pins,
Regular ass bowling pins, yeah,
and a regular
football. Yep.
So it's, something you could technically recreate.
Yeah, easily.
In your own yard or whatever.
Very easily, yeah.
That'd be pretty interesting to see that just played in the backyard.
Yeah, it was a fun game. And Lane found that activity, which made it even cooler. Because we're going to Detroit, and everybody's like, why are you going to Detroit for a family vacation? Which is a normal thing to say. But like we went and did cool shit like that. So, but we told the kids to look up things to do in Detroit so they could like be a part of the what are we doing process. And Lane found foaling, and he's like, I want to go foaling. And we're like, what's that? And he had a YouTube video from the website, and he showed it to us. And we're like, yeah, we're definitely going foaling. That looks awesome.
No, that is cool. I like the way that you took something, a trip to Detroit. If you're not, going there to see ICP or something like that, and made you went for a weekend, right? It was pretty long.
Yeah, a long weekend. We did Friday through Monday.
So finding just a different weird or stuff that you want to typically do. So that's pretty awesome.
My kids love trips like that, especially Tyler. Like they love like just going to a city and just like finding cool shit like that to do. Like we've done it with St. Louis, we've done it with Indianapolis, a bunch of different cities. And they love doing that shit because there's cool shit to do in every city. Like that's all there is to it. Like there's always something fun to do.
There is. Every city, every different locale has something unique about that area, or something that you don't anywhere else, or maybe a variation like this foaling of something else.
Yeah,
and it's cool to experience all those different things.
Yep, it is cool.
So speaking of Detroit and ICP, and I don't know if did you get a chance to watch that the cipher, the 8 Ways to Die, or because I think they just released it actually, this audio. I had watched it like once.
Popped up on my Spotify that it was a new release.
Yeah, so I had watched it once, and then I saw it come up. I forgot the name of it actually, and I was listening to it. I enjoyed so. But if you didn't listen to it, I think it's a pretty good a good cipher. It's interesting, the choice of people that they, not interesting, but how there's we have Isham on there, which he has a great verse on there, but like you have Big Hoodoo, who's on the label supposedly, or on paper. Well, on paper he's on the label, and he shows up. He pulls up in the video. He pulls up with Paul. Yeah, DJ Paul. He gets out of the car with him, but he doesn't have a verse in it.
Okay.
And Ouija Mac does. So it's like, what's going on?
It sounded like the ticket buying process for the gathering was terrible.
Oh, the last I remember hearing about it, because I wasn't going, so I didn't really follow. I know they attempted to go live with it on their website, and there were issues, so they didn't go live. But is it like now that it's been?
I think it's resolved now, but I just saw their Instagram post like the day of it crashed, and then they announced, okay, we're going to go live tomorrow at like 9 p.m. and then that crashed. It crashed like a couple different times, and then they finally like just put it on hold for a few days and then did it again. I think it was okay at that point, but that's terrible. And it's not like that's the only people that happens to. That happens way more often than it should.
Yeah. But the so I'm
when you're trying to buy concert tickets like that, like you shouldn't have a hard time spending lots of money.
Well,
talk about a lot of money too. I'll talk about Juggalo shit. Let's do it. What about that $25 for that fucking EP? That's
Ooh.
stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And that was supposed to be something that was given away for free to people that
Well,
had tickets to his concert, right?
I believe it was a VIP.
Okay, still okay.
And in hindsight, it's funny you should say that because I was mentioning it to somebody at work who he's actually a fan of Limp Bizkit, and we joke around after the
Oh
whole
well,
Drop
then
thing.
anything you say at this point is not credible if he's a fan of Limp Bizkit.
Because he's like a collector and stuff like me, and I was mentioning about the being $25. He's like, I forget what band he said, but they had like VIP things, and you can only get them at the tour. And he reached out to him, and it's like, if you have any left over or whatever, I'll be willing to buy one or whatever. And he's like, I paid $85
Oh my god.
for this. I was like, because they said that's fine, you'll just have to pay the price of a VIP.
Oh god. Minus the whole seeing the concert part of it.
And it made me feel better. I was like, well, maybe I should have paid 25.
No, you made the right choice.
No, I think I because I had yes, it was a leak or whatever, but because I had mentioned this in the chat, because I have the audio, I'm happy with that. I don't need the. I'm a collector to a point. Like
I don't think that $25 for an EP. I mean, yes, it is too much, but like it's not like way fucking too much. Like, I don't know. I mean, for something that's a limited edition of something, paying $25 for something that's of that quantity, like that's normal nowadays. It just is. It's just the fact that the people that paid to be the VIP got screwed out of it to begin with, and that's not cool. And then to turn around and sell it for $25, that's a huge slap in the face.
well, I forget some other YouTuber I watched was talking about it, and he brought up a good point actually, because he always falls more onto the twisted side of things, Magic Ninja, but he did bring up a good point. He's like, we only have 1,000. He's like, I would have bought it more if he said like 965 left, or like a random number, because you only pressed up
Right.
so many for the tour.
Right.
But you're saying I have you're going to press more up, or you're going to do what you want.
Yep.
We have 1,000
That's very
exactly
true.
left.
Right. Of course they didn't come home with exactly 1,000 of them. Yeah.
So if you're like that kind of thing, and then the whole additional, he called the bluff on the, not bluff, but whatever, the single, the Steve versus
Yeah.
Abu or whatever,
Yeah.
that it's just purely luck if you get it, or random. But if you buy 5 copies of the brother, you will get one.
Right.
No, it's not, because then you're
Not
just
random, man.
I have to pay $125
And I saw a few different people in the comments on Instagram talking about that they bought 5 of them to make sure that they got it.
Well, they're the people who are gonna then turn and flip the EP for like 50, 75.
Yeah. One guy I saw, his comment said, I ordered 5 of them. I'll keep the one with the extra, and then I'll sell the other 4 at a premium, and then if I get any extra of the other extra, whatever, you know what I mean, that he'll sell that for even more. So, and people will buy it.
And it is. I mean, if you have like that kind of collectors like blood in you, I guess. Like I said, I do to an extent, but I
did with them up until like the point of like when I stopped buying all of their material. Like I had to have all of the EPs, all of the singles, all of the variants of this different color with this different catalog number. I did all that shit. So
yeah, but I think it was more attainable then. Like, I mean, it wasn't as expensive. You know what I'm saying? And now, like the value, of course, would be more.
But I was paying a premium at that point too. Like if I wanted like the original Riddle box with the head PE sampler, like I paid like $25 for that, which is it's probably more than that now or something. But
I guess inflation or however you want to figure it. Yes, for the time, I guess it was 25 was a lot, but But like for me, I would like to
I
have
had a guy for that. I had a guy that was like my juggalo hookup of the different like versions of shit.
the that's cool though that you did have somebody that you could go to, kind of like my guy who I had get stuff from the gathering, because I know that was a big in the chat when we were talking about it. Because then I did purchase the Hell Cellar for I think it was $20 for that, but to me, I'm then I thought that was going to be the only shot to get that, and
Yeah.
I guess you could say the same thing for the brother thing. I had that one shot to get it. To me, because I don't know, I just at that point I'm just paying for artwork,
Yeah.
and it to be unless it was like a really nice, like the one thing I wish I would have somehow gotten hold of was that the Hurricane the Diamonds like CD that they put out in 2017. They very limited release, and it never fully came to fruition. It had all like those videos they did, the 6 foot, 7 foot, the couple ciphers from 2017.
Yeah.
And
But, everybody, like, I mean, people like even like in our chat room and shit, like they give you shit for buying multiple copies of an album or whatever. But as much of a pirate as I am, and like I download stuff, like it's still our duty to like to support these people, and like paying $25 to get something physical to add to your collection. Like at the end of the day, like you're really just giving like $20 to the band that's like, brought you that much entertainment through the year. They fucking deserve another $20 from you. So
that's true. So maybe
that's why I buy posters at shows that I go to and stuff, because like I know that that's like super cheap for them to print up, and that they make a bunch of fucking money off of it, and it looks cool hanging on my wall because I paid $20 to get in, but like the dude like still deserves $20 of my money from the merch booth.
And that makes sense. And that's where it comes down to though with the collecting thing, because of where my situation right now. Like if I had somewhere where I could display stuff better or be seen, it might make it more for of a incentive to go get something like that, or cool pieces where I could actually say, oh, here, like showcase this for a minute, maybe on even like on top of a bookshelf where people would see it. Whoever would care to see the brother, Hulk Hogan's face.
Do you use your Instagram a lot?
Huh?
Do you use your Instagram a lot?
Yeah, typically, like when I get like CDs and stuff, I will post pictures of them.
So I mean, like as far as like looking and like just like looking at other people's posts, like because I've noticed my Instagram, like a lot of my feed nowadays is like just looking at people's collection of stuff, like records or video games or whatever. Smoothie's got a kid to beat here.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta help beat a level. It looks like maybe.
Yeah. No.
No,
he found weird stuff on the 3DS YouTube app.
Hopefully it wasn't the Unknown Podcast live stream.
No, it was not. It was not. Well, we're just gonna close it and put it down.
Now he's gonna beat him. Oh, he turned off the audio. Oh shit. No. If you don't put it down now, I'll brand you with the Ink Smoothie logo. Oh no, I should do the Ninja Land thing. The muscle mags and yeah, you just gotta keep working out. Shit, I can't remember the line. Go to Ninja Land.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it did look pretty weird. I don't know what the heck YouTube variations on the 3DS, but
brought back super weird flashbacks doing the Ninja Land voice over top of you talking. That was a pretty weird moment for me.
That was good. That'll be good to definitely pay full attention to later on the playback.
Yes, definitely.
So anyway, before I was distracted, he's supposed to be getting a shower and going to bed.
Not watching YouTube on his Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, he has a phone. He has a TV, a smart TV that and he's watching it on. That's my 3DS, not
Oh gosh,
his. He has his. He doesn't play it. But where were we? What were we talking about?
I don't know.
We were talking
Collecting shit and spending too much money on CDs and stuff.
Oh, we were talking about Instagram. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I
what
was
you were
saying
saying.
like, there's so much shit that I follow now that's like, this is this person's video game collection, and how cool is their video game room, and all that stuff, and like, it makes me also envious that I don't have all of that stuff.
And I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Like I would like to be able to just take one whole snapshot
Yeah,
of the thing. Although I guess I could play around if I like really want to put the time in and work on angles. Like when I get a
right.
CD, I'm typically just holding it, but maybe if I
Yeah,
took some time to showcase it as it,
yeah.
comes in.
I got this way of like that I try to take pictures of records like on top of my record player, and like it doesn't look nearly as cool as like everybody else's pictures on Instagram,
Yeah.
but
No, but I always see people getting like crazy, like similar stuff, like with like video games. A lot of them stacked and a lot of them like
mhm,
one on top, looking all nice, and the lighting's
mhm.
all good. It's like,
And I'm sitting here with like I have like the top of the line iPhone, and my pictures don't look like these pictures. So what the fuck camera and lighting are they using that I can't get with the fucking phone that I'm paying out the ass for?
they're editing. That's what they're doing. They're taking their time with
Okay.
those.
That's what that is.
Um, they're using different apps, I'm sure, to edit it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll start working on that and making that
Yeah. Like every time I get a new record, and like I've even got like pictures on my phone of like records that I get and like take pictures of, and then like I want to post that to Instagram, and I don't do it.
and
Or like
that
I find a cool new video game and I take a picture of it, and I'm like, oh, cool, and I still don't fucking post it.
and that's usually what I'm doing too. I'll usually take it, and there's like some that I just never get back to actually posting. Like I just shared a buddy of mine. He on Facebook. I don't know if it was actually him at the store or it was somebody else, but he put a picture of like a knockoff RoboCop toy, like really horribly. I forget what the name was, like Robo Hero or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just said that's almost as good as this. And then around, I guess it was after Thanksgiving or whatever, we were in Ross's or Gabe's, one of those. I don't know if you have Gabe's out there. They kind of just have, it's like a discount store, like
Oh
they
yeah,
get
yeah, we do. Yeah.
like the one off, like the what do you say? Like the defective stuff. There's like
Yes.
an imperfection and
Yeah.
stuff, so you can get stuff for cheaper. And I was going through, and they had and I'll have to post this or give it to whoever. I don't have the information for the unknown pod thing, but there were turtle heroes. They were ninjas, or it was called Turtle Power, but they were just like generic ninja figures painted like turtles, but they were humans, and it's like it's almost as good as these. And hindsight, I should have picked them up for like
Right.
$6.
Yeah, you should have.
But I didn't. But I took a picture then, and
Mhm.
never. And then that was the first time I pulled it out, and that was just last week. So it's like a couple months, and I was like, I had to scroll back. I was like, oh, there it is. There's what I was looking for. But I
Yeah.
do regret not buying those. They would have been
Yep.
definitely collector's pieces. But
There's probably a million of those out there.
there are, but like they're so like I mean I remember like getting like
And probably a million different versions of the knockoffs of. There's probably more knockoffs than there are real ones.
that's true, and there are, and it's just always fun when you actually see because usually it's from like some weird place or
Mhm.
whatever. Not weird, not that the place is weird, but some like different country where it's like their
Mhm.
goal to make the knockoff stuff. But like
Mhm.
I remember getting um like knockoff wrestler figures from like the
Oh
dollar
yeah.
store, but they were quality. Like
Yeah,
I
they
remember
were cool.
back then, like I would actually incorporate them into my heat because they looked
Yep.
like He-Man. They were
Yeah.
pretty much knockoff He-Man.
Yeah,
That's what they were.
exactly.
Brand is wrestling, but I was like, oh, I can throw these guys in here. It's just the one-off people, but the toys seem a lot cheaper now, even the knockoffs.
Yeah. But there's a lot of cool knockoff stuff out there, like people that are making like t-shirts of video games or cartoons or stuff that are like they look cool at least.
That's true. I do say one thing
And I
that's
guess
kind of
that's considered knockoff, but
well along the line of knockoffs because we can slide right into this wasn't obviously prepared, but you just made me think of it. Um, did you happen to catch on Netflix the show? Oh, I can't. I don't know what the show is called on Netflix now. I don't know the guy's name. The store he owns. It's called Generation Cool. The dude's name's Slobby Robbie. Um,
No.
it's he runs this. It's so cool. He runs this vintage store.
Okay.
I forget where it's at, and I think they're opening a new one in Las Vegas as well. But like he'll go to like thrift stores and everything and find like old like
Mhm.
Tommy Hilfiger stuff, and but he also like goes out of his way to look for knockoff stuff.
Gotcha.
So like if knockoff like Louis Vuitton or whatever, it's like but he like pretty much turns it and everything and sells it. But he has a lot of cool like toys, clothes, and everything. It's just I forget what the I don't. It might be Slavi's World or Robbie's World on Netflix. It's a whole series, but it's definitely
Slobby's World sounds disgusting.
it does. It does. It's based off. He got
That's
his
on
nickname.
Pornhub, not on Netflix.
He got his nickname from the Garbage Pail Kid.
Okay.
Like that's what his friends call him. Let me see. Wait. It's definitely worth watching though. Like it was one of the shows I binged in like 2 days.
Gotcha.
And I want them to have a new season come out. Slobby's World.
Slobby's World.
But it's definitely if you're into that kind of stuff. But it was when you were saying like the knockoff because they'll get like different T-shirts and everything like old rap T-shirts, but they're all definitely knockoff stuff.
I learned a few years back, like when I was like super into Pearl Jam for a little while, like for the 5th time. They were doing shows down in Mexico, and like when they would play like the big like soccer stadiums in Mexico, and outside of the stadiums there would be like basically like a whole damn little village of sort. Like it was a pretty big area of like all of these vendors that are set up selling bootleg merchandise of whatever it is that's happening at that stadium at that time. So like it's like flea market style, like huge, like 100 different vendors like selling like all of this knockoff Pearl Jam stuff. And because of the laws in Mexico, like they can't make them stop. They do it for everything.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. It was so cool. Cool to see because like you could buy so much cool bootleg shit. And people do like
Oh yeah, I
walk
mean,
into like a mecca of Pearl Jam. Like,
yeah.
how can you not buy stuff?
Well, it's like I mean, that sounds like a good place to go for the Brother EP. To get a knockoff. Okay, whatever. It's a knockoff. I'll take it. $5. That's good. Oh, I'm good.
Good enough. Does it come with the bonus EP?
Well, that's how and I should have known because the prices were too good. When I haven't gotten any more of them, but I should just might as well finish out the series. Like I bought like I have like the first 4 or 5 seasons of Walking Dead on DVD. And then after I realized that, I was like, this quality doesn't look good. And they're complete bootlegs.
Yeah.
they're completely knockoff ones, but they're passable. I mean, like the one had like the little catalog that you got for like ordering stuff on AMC and stuff in there. But like I looked at the back of the disc, I was like, this isn't right.
So we went to the horror movie con here in Cincy. I don't know if we've done an episode since then.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
And there was a booth there that like I started looking at their Blu-rays, and like it was like The Walking Dead seasons 1 through 5, and it was just like a single Blu-ray, and I was like, well, that's bootleg. and I realized like that's what everything was. It was like, here's Home Improvement, the entire complete series on one Blu-ray.
Hey, if they could make it look,
I was like, how can you get a booth at a horror movie con and sell that kind of shit? That seems weird to me that they'd be allowed to do that. But like nobody was buying any of it any of the times I walked past it. So
see, it's like for something like that, I would definitely like to be able to preview it. Like I said, the ones I have aren't too bad. Like it's watchable, but you can definitely tell it's not.
I mean, it's the same shit that you could. It's just somebody downloading shit off the Pirate Bay and
doing it well, or getting the regular DVDs and copying them and then just having the fancy. I mean, I give an A for effort because it's like
Yeah,
in the nice, slip covers and
yeah.
artwork
I
there. The
sold
disc
DVDs like that a long time ago.
um,
Back during the Blockbuster Movie Pass days, I used to sell pirated
nice,
copies of movies.
nice. Speaking of that, I've heard something. They have got these Netflix. I
Oh my god, a Netflix envelope.
I
What
went and
movie is it?
this one is to sell
The
or sell
Cell?
sell with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack, Stephen
Oh,
King.
okay. I thought
Yep.
you were talking The Cell from the 90s with
No,
J-Lo.
no, not that one. And this one that's in here is that's the craft.
I
Want
just
that.
met Nev Campbell at this horror con.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of that. That was
That was
awesome.
pretty awesome.
I don't know. I forget why I did that, but there was a trial, so I was like, oh, I might as well do the
Oh,
2
you
day
haven't
trial.
been doing it this whole time?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay. I just kind of assumed that you had been.
I have to April 5th, I think it ends. So I don't know
Gotcha.
the
Blu-rays or DVDs?
DVD.
Okay.
I don't think the trial. I don't think was for Blu-ray.
Gotcha.
Which was fine. I got a few movies, but I was no rush to do it. It was not. It was cool. I don't want to say nostalgia, but
Kind of,
kind
yeah.
of nostalgic just to get that delivered and wait for it to watch it and everything. But
Yeah.
not something, of course, I would continue right now anyway. I mean, I thought about it. I was like, well, if I do this just the one disc at a time, but I was like, I can
Gotta
go
go
to
for the
one
2 discs.
box and
So you're gonna rip those and put them on your Plex?
yes, they've
Hell
already
yeah.
been ripped. Except for Cell when I'm ripping out. If I can't get around it, I don't do
So
it.
you're a horror fan.
I am.
What's your relationship not relationship with,
Oh,
but
we have a good relationship.
Joe Bob Briggs?
I've never. I know of him, but
Same.
I don't. I know he's. I guess at some point he was.
Mhm.
I mean, I know he's still around, but I think maybe he's. From what I gather, and I could be completely wrong, but he's was like a late night horror show type of guy, but not from years ago.
Yes.
Correct. But now he's making a resurgence. I think he's on Shudder.
On Shudder. He just so he started, from what I can tell, like in the 90s, and then in the late 90s he had a show on TNT called Monster Vision. And
Oh,
and I remember like seeing commercials for that when I watched wrestling, but I never watched the show.
yeah. No,
And
I remember the name Monster Vision. I don't think I ever watched the show.
yeah,
I mean, I've always liked horror, but I don't think I
same
ever
here.
watched
But
it.
I never did check out Monster Vision for whatever reason. I never did. But yeah, so now he's made a comeback on Shudder, and he did a marathon on like Christmas or something like that. But the new season just started. Like it finally is. Season 1 is starting back up. It started last night
On
and
Shudder.
on Shudder. Yeah, so he's doing 9 weeks on Friday nights, and it's 2 movies. It's a double feature. It's called The Last Drive-In is the name of the show with Joe Bob Briggs. So it's 2 movies, and he talks during them, and like I guess, but I haven't watched it yet, so I was just curious if you were a fan.
I have Shudder too. I haven't watched it. I've been paying for it.
You should give me your login.
I should if I remember what it is.
Yeah, because we were gonna watch the first episode last night earlier in the week. I told Tyler I explained all of this to him, and I was like, I really don't know anything about him, but like, people are like really excited that he's coming back and that they liked his old stuff. I was like, so I feel like I should at least check it out to see if it's something that I'm into. And he's like, yeah, that sounds cool. But then I ended up having to work last night, so we missed it. So I might try to watch it tomorrow if we have time to.
Yeah, no, I'll let you. I'll get you that information, but it's not $5.
Yeah, it's like $5. Yeah, I was just gonna subscribe, no big deal. But
It was.
he watched. So they do 2 movies, and the first movie was Chud, and the second movie is Castle Freak, I think.
That sounds familiar.
So I have not seen either one of those movies. I've never seen Chud.
I have. I think I've Chud on my Plex, but I don't think I've watched it yet.
Okay. Like
Uh,
I know the imagery of it. Like I remember like seeing it on the shelf back in the day, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
yeah, I don't either. But now my question is, because obviously if it was on TNT back in the day, it was edited and everything. Are they going to, from what you know, do they hold that format, or they, since it's Shutter, do they play the unedited version?
That I don't know.
Because
I'm
I would have to venture to say that the edited would make it that much more better. And of course, you want to see the regular version at
yeah,
some point in time, but for the sake of the show and the context of the show,
yeah,
I think that would be the selling point for me.
yeah. I looked up on YouTube, and it has like the old episodes of Monster Vision on there, but it just has like his parts. It doesn't have like the movie and then his part, the movie and then his part. Like it takes the movie out, I guess, for the copyright reasons. But like you could watch like just his, it was like a 25-minute part if you put all of his stuff together from the one movie. So
So it was kind of the, I would imagine, like the before and after commercial like pieces,
yeah,
correct? And
yeah.
like, of course, obviously to start the show and end the
Hmm.
show.
Just an Elvira kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, I used to love that stuff, and
Yeah, same here. Which is why I feel that it's weird that it kind of flew under my radar so much, like it did with me and for you, because we're both longtime horror fans. But
yeah,
I guess during that, I don't know, during the late '90s, when I think it was like, I don't know, maybe I was so in, I don't know, maybe I didn't
I
care
would.
at the time or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think. Oh, I think I'm being paged again here.
Oh,
Um,
all right, here we go.
Go, Casey. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I think for a lot of the that kind of stuff, like I think there comes a point, when you're in that stuff, like this stuff that's now cool when you think back on like the retro stuff. Because I was thinking about this, like you go through that point in time where it's maybe not cool or it's not important
Right.
when it's actually in the moment, or even like slightly past. When I think of like stuff that's from the 80s and stuff that I look back, like one of the things I didn't care about like at a certain point, but I remember like the USA. Um, what was it?
Up all night.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
it. So like at the time when it was going on, it was cool, but it was like something that you didn't think about. But then now when you go back and hear it, it's like,
Yes.
oh, it's so awesome. I wish I would have
When we
paid.
went to the Horror Hound convention a couple weeks ago, we watched an Elvira panel. And at one point, the moderator was talking to her, and he said, and what you were doing was before USA Up All Night, right? And I was like, oh my God, USA Up All Night. Like somebody just like out loud asked somebody a question about USA Up All Night, and like somebody else in the world besides myself like remembers that that was even a fucking thing. And she's like, oh yeah, definitely before that. And she's like, I love that, but yeah, I was doing it before that.
Yep.
And I was like, how cool, man. I loved that. Was like a big part of like my childhood was USA Up All Night, as
It,
fucked up as that is. It
well, no,
was,
it was because you
yeah.
go. I mean, I remember like I guess I would sneak downstairs to,
Hmm.
and like that would be, you had limited stuff, but like that would be something I could go and watch and
Hmm.
enjoy, because like the movies, of course, they would be edited, but
Yeah.
it'd be a little steamier or
Yes.
whatever the type of movie it was. But then you had the interject, like
Hmm.
the kind of like the live action, or the,
The host of the show. Yeah.
yes, doing their talking bits and everything.
Mhm.
Because there was, what else? There
It
was
was just a totally different world. Like that's just not a thing anymore. Well, I mean, I guess it is because now Joe Bob Briggs is doing it again on Shutter. But
but it's now it's more, it's an on demand world. Like
yeah, and
like
it's a
you have it,
nostalgia thing that's back at this point.
but you can get anytime. Like at that time, it was, you had to wait till, it was always Friday nights, right? It was always on Friday and
USA
Saturday.
Up All Night was Friday night. I think it was originally Friday night, but then they went Friday and Saturday night because they had a different host on each night. Friday night I don't remember which night. One night was Rhonda Shear, and the other night was Gilbert Gottfried.
That's right. Yes. But yeah, it was like but you had to watch that on Friday or Saturday
Mhm.
night, and then those movies you wouldn't necessarily see unless you went and rented it.
I recorded the shit out of that stuff on my VCR from when I was watching it. I had tapes on tapes of shit that I recorded from Up All Night.
Do you still have those tapes?
Oh, I sure don't.
Let's see, and that's I wish
I know.
I still had it because that's I mean, well, obviously I shared my podcast with you, which still hasn't been published yet, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
at least it's a real thing, and but like that kind of stuff, like that's what I enjoy the most now. It's just saying that I said I can watch those like 80s commercials nonstop. Um,
Yeah.
when the mood hits me,
Great. Yeah.
I will sit. I could sit and easily spend. Like I remember the first time I did that was probably about four. No, not four. We've been here 4 years. 5, 6, whatever years. I forget what I was doing, but I happened to be um on the computer, obviously. I mean, I forget what made me I shouldn't say what I was doing, but what made me think of it. And I was like, um, I pulled up a Bartles and James commercial, I think. One of the ones from the 80s. I don't know if you remember these with the two old dudes or whatever that were just sitting there. Bartles, who I guess would assume were Bartles and James, but it wasn't.
Right.
But it made me think of that, and then I just went into this whole rabbit hole on YouTube, and that was like I said, it was before smart TVs and everything. But I think I
Mhm.
pulled it up on my PlayStation 3 and pulled up the browser and pulled up YouTube so I could sit and continue watching it on the
I had a
TV.
cool commercial that I remembered the other day when we were at work and we were just listening to Pandora and Eye of the Tiger came on. And I was like, there was a commercial and it was late 90s. It wasn't an 80s commercial. And I was like, I know it was late 90s. And they used Eye of the Tiger and it was like an office setting and like they changed the words to like compliment the person that they were talking to. And I couldn't remember what it was a commercial for. And I looked it up and it was a Starbucks commercial. Do you remember that at all?
No, but I'm gonna have to
You
enlighten me.
have to here. I'll look it up on YouTube here real quick and play the audio into the microphone and see if you remember this. Because I said that to the guy at work and he's like, "Yeah, I don't remember that at all." And then I pulled it up and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do." So let me
Yeah,
see if I can
like
find it real quick.
80s and 90s like commercials. I can definitely watch them, especially 90s because they're more like there's something like the 80s ones are very reminiscent, of course, like Saturday morning cartoons and everything. But I love like I think I've mentioned this channel numerous times, the 80s commercial vault on here. I love how they um when they're given the videos or however they come across these, they usually leave bumpers and stuff.
Here's this one. If you can hear this.
Lynn's the man going to work. Got his tie, got ambition.
No,
I think I'd have to actually see
the video is the band following this guy around and like singing to him to get
that
him motivated.
that seems familiar. That when you're just saying that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking that they were because it's actually Survivor, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not okay.
Yep.
Well, kind of like the which is more recent, but the final countdown was that whatever commercial that
Mhm.
was where they're in the office or
I
whatever.
love the Final Countdown. That's like one of my favorite 80s songs.
So much good. We just turned this into the nostalgia episode, the
Fuck it. Why not?
retro. We could do what we want. It's just the two of us, you and I.
Was that just the two of us? Was there anything else that we actually wanted to talk about? The
No,
playlist, I don't give a shit about because I don't remember if I listened to it or not.
we'll revisit that or make a new one. The only the I mean the songs that I put on there. I should say this is how long it's been
I'm gonna look at it real quick because I don't remember at all.
since we recorded. But I put the day after or the last time we recorded had to be in February because the songs I put on there are all Biggie songs because it was the day after the anniversary of his death.
What
And then,
episode? It says we're on episode 27 on the playlist. Is that what you said at the beginning of the episode?
no, we're episode 28 this episode.
It is? Okay, well then the playlist episode is wrong.
No, that should be 20.
It says 27 is the playlist episode.
Yeah, that's we always do from.
Do we? I don't think we do. Hold on. Now I'm going to check my podcast app to make sure you got the episode number right here.
I did. I checked because I wasn't sure myself.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right.
Is
Well
it
then,
right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we didn't talk about this pod or this playlist the last episode either, so it got carried over. That's probably what happened.
No, because we did the last episode we did.
Yeah.
Remember, I was reading off I had the list and everything,
Okay.
and Kyle was on, but he didn't
Yeah.
contribute to it.
So
I think we named it 27.
I had a later.
Maybe we didn't update. Maybe we didn't.
Fugazi song. You had, yeah, all of you. Yeah, okay.
There's the last song on there was a bonus that I added was Crazy Bone. I forget who else the other people on, but it's from the Us
Mm-hmm.
soundtrack, which I have to go back and listen to it again because
I really want to see that movie.
so do I. I see it's getting great reviews.
I'm very, very, very new to even knowing who the hell Jordan Peele is.
Really?
Admittedly, yeah. So I need to see Get Out. I've recently learned I need to see that because I have not seen that. And I just today watched the trailer. I got my new Fangoria in the mail today, and it had Us on the cover. And I was like, I'm embarrassed that I don't really know about this. So I looked up the trailer and I watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, I have heard of this movie.
We mentioned it a while. One of the episodes when Aaron was on, we mentioned it.
So I need
I saw the trailer.
to get hip to this. I don't know
Yeah,
why I
see,
haven't watched that, but I haven't.
again, I mean, I liked Get Out, but the thing about that trailer that hooked me was the Looney song, the I Got Five on it, but the way that they slowed it down and it was still the same.
And I liked on the trailer like how they were talking about the song, and they were like, "It's about drugs."
Yeah, and it was very eerie, like the way they slowed it down. It was very eerie, and that's what they used in that last song that I put on there. They used that slower version.
That's a soundtrack thing to do right now. Right now is to cover a song and give it a slower vibe to it. Right, like that's a normal thing to do.
Yeah, I think again,
I'm not discrediting this. I think it sounds very cool.
No, that's again that whole nostalgia get all. I mean, that's why we have all the remakes and reboots and everything that are coming out. But I definitely watch Get Out. I mean, going back to Jordan Peele, but so you're not familiar even with any like the Key and Peele, like the
Never watched a second of it. No.
Why YouTube? When you have a chance, just look up Key and Peele and like the different things. Like there's one of the funny things, one of the first things I saw from them. They had a show on Comedy Central, but something with zombies. I don't know if it's black zombies or yeah, I think it's black, where all like these rich white people are just staying away from them because they're black or whatever. It's a funny skit, and there's that one. There's one about
that was a skit show, correct?
Yeah, they do random goofy stuff because then they did another skit like with like dubstep or whatever, and like
so that's where this dude started, was that show,
and it's comedy and it's funny, like stupid. Like they did that cat movie that was out a few years ago.
I know nothing of the movie world. So he started on the show and then has done multiple movies since then, or Get Out.
Well, the cat movie with Key and Peele is called Keanu, Keanu, but it's a comedy thing.
I got nothing on that one.
To oh, excuse me, to see when he did Get Out. Like you wouldn't expect
Okay.
that to come, like that type of horror to come from somebody who's more versed in comedy, and
And then now this new one is
which is
also horror.
yes, and which I think is above it. Like somebody I follow on Instagram who loves movie, he's saw it 3 times already.
Nice.
Um,
Did it just come out this weekend?
nah, I think it's been out a couple weeks now,
Okay.
but it's just recently came out. Anyway, I'm not sure what the exact date is, but
It's at the top of my list of movies to see now. I want to go see it.
it's definitely one that's on mine. I don't know if I get to see it in the theater, but I will be looking forward to when it does come out. And checking it out. But it's definitely you'll if you watch just some of it, yes. If you watch some of their like comedy skits and then watch Get Out and then be like, wow, the same person is responding. I mean, I guess you can say much like Danny McBride and the new Halloween. Like I wouldn't expect that Danny McBride to be a writer on that, and it was well done. And I guess again, that's us just being our.
Did you see my cool Michael Myers autograph?
Which I did see some on the Instagram.
Oh yeah, cool autograph from can you read it at all?
Say thanks, Brandon. What does the
And then the autograph is the dude's name, James Jude Courtney or something, whatever his name is. And then it says the shape H-O.
That's all. Oh, and you got the figure on it.
Yeah, it's the NECA figure box. So I was pretty proud of that one.
That's awesome.
That's my second Michael Myers that I've met. He was a really nice guy. He was really cool. He was probably the nicest guy that we met all weekend, honestly.
That's awesome. It seems like you had a good time there. And again, that was something that definitely satisfied the nostalgia feel.
I met Christina Ricci.
Yes, you did. You did. That was your
highlight.
That was your bucket list, I think. And you so much so that you met her 2 days in a row.
I met her twice.
Now
paid to meet her twice.
That's what I was going to say. Did you have to pay?
Sure, of course I did. You don't get a buy one get one. You pay twice.
It's crazy. I mean, it's stupid. I know they have to make their money and everything, but that's to me, that's one of the hardest things. Like that you have to buy, pay to get them. But like I think if you have to stand in line for an hour, that should be good enough.
Yeah,
just for them to take a picture with you. But
they make so much money off of it. But at first I was like, okay, $60 to meet, which is how much it was, which is fucking absurd. I was like, $60 to meet Christina Ricci. I can do that. And then the second day I was like, I still have this much money left. What do I want to use it on? I'm going to meet Christina Ricci again. So, because not very often do you have a chance to meet Christina Ricci, let alone 2 days in a row. So I might
Did she remember you from the first day?
Fuck no. No, the thing about these things are like this con in particular is all I can speak on. But the bigger the star, the less time you have with them. Because like Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd and like Nev Campbell, like they were like bow, like one after another because they had a line the whole fucking time. And like they were nice and shit, but like you didn't get much time. But like you walk up to the guy that played Michael Myers and like he'll sit there and like joke around with you for 5 minutes.
But you still had to pay for him as well too, right?
Correct, but not as much.
I mean, and like I said, I guess that's more or less like a tip, if you will. I would say. But yeah, that's still one of the hardest things. It's like
I know this is only our second year doing this con. In the first year, I was like, I'm not fucking paying to meet anybody, because like I've met a lot of cool bands and shit, like from going like out back after their shows, like when they're loading their trucks. Like I met a lot of cool people and a lot of cool wrestlers doing the same thing without ever spending a dime.
Right. And
but things have changed now, and that is not an option anymore, which sucks. But at the first year we went to this con, I was like, I'm not playing into this game. This is stupid. But like that's the only way to do it now. And I don't know, it's kind of fun getting your picture taken with people. So I've kind of changed my mind on it a little bit at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have to be the right person, I guess, for me or whatever.
We've started doing it like at wrestling shows too, like some of the like more popular of like the small time wrestlers, like you can get pictures with them for like 10 or 20 bucks. And I'm like, whatever. Like they deserve my 10 or 20 bucks for
I mean, I guess it has always been like that kind of in a way because I think around 97, 98, I think I was in college, maybe just home on a break, and I went to some like stupid indie, not stupid. It was fun. I had fun at it, but like some kind of like indie promotion or whatever. It was like in the like hotel lobby or whatever. They had the wrestling ring set up, but who was it? Missy Hyatt, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Was there and it was like $5 for a Polaroid.
Yep.
With her, and I paid the $5. So
yeah,
has always
through the 90s, the $5 Polaroid for wrestlers was very much a standard.
I saw that somewhere. I have to dig that out. But
yes, I'd love to see that. Missy Hyatt was awesome.
But that was so I guess it has always been, but it's now escalated to a different level because I think cons are a bigger thing
now. You use your own camera and you pay a whole lot more.
That's true. You have to do all the work.
Yes. Yep.
But there are
2 different levels of shit you can do at these cons. Like you can use your phone to get a picture made with Christina Ricci, and like her little worker person will like take your phone and take the picture for you so that it's not just like holding it selfie style. At least it's somebody taking a picture of you. Or you can do the professional photo op, which you get even less time with the celeb. Like it's literally just bang, 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 one after another. But it's more expensive. But it has like a portrait studio background to it, and you get an 8x10 printed out of the photo itself and given to you, and it has like the Horror Hound logo like printed on the bottom right or whatever. But that's even more expensive.
Well, so what would that run you?
That was $90 for Christina Ricci, as opposed to the $60 selfie style. And she was not the most expensive person there, but almost. Christopher Lloyd was the most expensive there, and rightfully so. Christopher Lloyd should be the most expensive there.
Yeah, he's putting his time.
But he was $90 to use your own phone to take a picture with him, and we met him, but we did not pay any money. We just shook hands and went on with our day.
So that's an option then. Like you can stand in line and say hi.
So we talked about this on the last Howdy Radio, but we'll go through it again real quick. Like all of these people, like me and Tyler have kind of got like a pitch down, because like when you wait in line to get to them, and right before you get to the celebrity themselves, they have a worker that is like selling their 8x10s or their DVDs or whatever, or their selfies. So like they sell you whatever you're getting autographed or whatever before you get to the celebrity themselves. So we've got it worked out. So like we get to that person, and they're always really nice. And they're like, oh, what can we do for you? And we always just say, we just want to say hi for a moment, and that's all. And they're always like, oh, okay, cool, go right ahead. And that's never, ever a problem. Except for the woman that was working Christopher Lloyd's line. She was a complete fucking bitch about it. And she's like, you can't do that. That's not an option if you're not spending money. And I said, well, I asked the guy at the beginning of the line if that was okay. And he said it was, which was true. I did ask him that, and he did say it was okay. He just said, you got to make it quick, which is fine. So she was a bitch about it. She's like, you can kind of wave and just walk past, but make sure you don't stop and hold up the line whatsoever. She was a complete bitch about it. And then we got to Christopher Lloyd, and then like she said, they just want to say hi real quick. And then we said hi. And then he talked to us just like anybody else that was paying $90 to get an autograph talk to us. Like, he was extremely nice. He didn't, I mean, maybe he did care that we weren't spending money, but he acted like he didn't care that we didn't spend money. So that's good enough for me. And he was extremely nice about it. And he shook our hands and thanked us for coming, just like everybody did that we paid money to meet also. So
I think there has to be a certain amount on the celebrity end of face saving, because
Mhm.
you know, if he did care or did
Mhm.
have
He can't act like an asshole about it.
yeah, because that's going to completely
Right.
not only for leave a bad impression for you, but all those other people.
Right.
They're going to say, "Oh, sure, I'm not going to pay $90 to
Exactly.
get."
And
But
we're the minority. Like, I don't see many people doing that in line. Most people in line are paying money to get it done, but I kind of don't care. Like, I can at least say that, like, I met and shook hands with Christopher Lloyd. I don't have a picture or an autograph, but I didn't have to spend the fucking money on it. So
now, how are they with like if you're in the line, like you're like 3 back and you take a picture? Do they
I
like
got yelled at multiple times for having my camera out. It's very, very, very frowned upon to take pictures during that time. But I'm like, I'm standing here and Christina Ricci is 20 feet away from me. I'm gonna fucking take pictures. That's all there is to it.
that
So I
makes-
did. And I tried to be sly about it. And I got away with a lot more than they noticed than I took. But I did have people tell me multiple times to put my camera away.
it's crazy, and like I said, I mean, I guess such is the life of a celebrity,
Mhm.
but I still like I like the idea of standing there and just saying hi. But the
Mhm.
fact that you have to pay to get a picture taken or whatever, it's
Yeah.
you know, you could run into them at like a random place and they
But
would probably would not have a problem.
exactly. But the odds of running into them at a random place are so fucking slim that
Right.
you
So
want to meet them, you're going to spend $50 or whatever.
I guess you have to go into these conventions like uh, with the mindset of like, oh, I'm going for,
Yep.
in your case, Christina Ricci. Like that was
Yep.
your.
I mean, I had my budget going into it. I mean, this event was no different than any other event that we go to. I saved up X amount of dollars I had for the whole weekend, and that's what I had. And I knew that, you know, this much of it needed to go to Christina Ricci, this much of it needed to go to us eating for the weekend and shit like that. But I mean, we kind of just played with it throughout the weekend of, you know, let's go meet Michael Myers or let's meet Nev Campbell. And like, we spent a good amount of money, but man, there's people there that spend just, I mean, so much money.
Yeah,
The guy behind me in line for Christopher Lloyd, he had a Mattel made hoverboard, which was one of the coolest things I've ever fucking seen in my life, that was already signed by Michael J. Fox. And he paid $90 to get that signed. He paid $90 to get a DeLorean signed and paid $90 to get a picture with him. So I mean, that just right off the bat, I mean, he spent that much money. Just, I mean, that was one fucking person that took Christopher Lloyd like a minute or a minute and a half of his life to get through, and that's how much money he made off of that guy.
but you wonder too, like in his like scenario, the hoverboard sounds cool, so that's definitely a collector's piece right
Cool
there.
as hell. Yes.
That would be something that would have his, but like a DeLorean,
Mhm.
I would imagine maybe he's getting that signed, and maybe he's like a reseller, or he has like a shop. Said, okay, now I have this signed by both Michael J. Fox and Chris. Now
Mhm.
I sell.
Or it could just be a collector, like
It could be. I mean, I guess if you,
really. But
I mean, I guess if he's going to pay the $90 then to get a picture as well. So I guess
Yep. Yeah, but there of course is definitely the eBay people there that are just getting shit signed to resell. That's for sure a thing.
yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, that's par for the course too. I would assume just if you're, well, like I go to the local card shop, like the guy who sells baseball cards and stuff, and I'm sure he goes to these events because you
Right.
see autograph stuff there just for that reason, so he can have it in the store.
Yep. But when I go to something like this, I have no interest in an autograph. I like to get pictures with people, but I don't really have. Well, I got the autograph of Michael Myers, but that was because it was just a solid price for a picture and an autograph for him, and I knew that going into it, so that's why I took my figure with me. But for the most part, like I like getting pictures with people, but I don't really have a use for autographs.
You know, I think now a picture is more especially if you're not doing it for the reason of reselling or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's an autograph's pointless. I think for
Mhm.
nostalgia or for memory's sake, a picture is the better
Yep.
option nowadays.
Like one of the wrestlers that we met at a show like a month or two ago, um, he had like a little price list in front of him, but it didn't say anything about pictures. And I said, "Hey, will you get a picture with me and my son?" And he was like, "As long as you buy something, I'll take a picture for free." And I was like, "All right, that's fair." So he had his 8x10s that were $10 and he autographed that. So I bought the autograph picture and he took the picture with us, but I was essentially just paying $10 to get a picture taken with him.
But you got it was a bonus thing. And
Oh yeah.
that's
Bonus
cool. They throw it in. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
I think you're going to say we're about to take our halftime break so I can grab another beer.
Okay, we will take a halftime break. We are going to do that. You stick around. We're just going to have some more fun and more nonsense, more reminiscing coming back at you for part 2 of the Unknown Podcast. All right. You live folks can enjoy watching the green screens. I'm back. I'm back.
What up?
Oh, it's good. Let me choose pizza before we go live. I'm gonna get some goodies here. Did you get another shot?
Yeah, I sure did.
I got another shot, but I still have this beer still left.
Got a shot of beer. Is that what you said?
So I got a new shot, but I still have this beer left, so I didn't need to get another beer. And we'll talk about that in the show. I'm just going to bring up something else.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm going to cram this in. Choo, choo, choo. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to unpause, 5-second pause, and we'll get into it.
I got to finish chewing.
Okay. You finish chewing now.
Do it.
Ready? All right, everyone. We are back with episode 28. We took our short little break. We refilled our shots and beers, and we are ready to kick off the second half here. It's been a great show so far, and it's only going to get better from here on out. So, Brandon, you said you had another shot that you ready to do?
I do.
All right. So let's do the shot up. Cheers.
I just noticed Scott posted in the chat room.
He did. He did.
Screens are greens. Indeed, they are.
Oh, we posted something additional. I saw him.
He posted in the YouTube chat room.
Oh. Well, tell him to get on here. Scott, get on here.
Screens are greens is what he said on there. He posted in the Twitter chat.
He said, I'm mounting my TV right now. This was at 11, quarter 12, an hour ago, and got no notifications on my phone until right now. So,
oh, fuck off.
He had an hour to do that. If he's in there commenting on the thing, he should just take the invite and jump in for the second half. But that's all good. So you grabbed another beer. I said I'm still drinking on the same one here.
Liquid vinyl.
That is just definitely right up your alley.
It is. Oh yeah. All right. What do we got for the second half?
Well, I wanted to circle back here to a couple of things. Not circle back, but so we were talking about autographs and pictures and all that fun stuff. So I kind of two examples of what you said, like the hanging out after shows stuff. Mm-hmm. So right here I have this picture that's Steve Blackman.
Oh yeah, it is.
That was after the college I went to. Well, we went, I think it was Hershey. We went to see them a Monday Night Raw, one of my first Raws. It was in Hershey. We went to school up that way, and he's actually from the town where my college was, Annville, Pennsylvania. So that was the one example. That was just a random. Oh, you're walking by. Let me snap a picture of you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then here's the that's me and
hell yeah, with the Austin 316 shirt.
So it was definitely my freshman year of college because I got that shirt at that Raw.
Hell yeah. So take a picture of that and at least put it in the chat room so I can see it a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. That was like the the $5 Polaroid and the hey, if you're walking by, I'm gonna take a picture of you.
I love those candid shots like that.
And it was cool too because that was at the time when we were leaving the arena after the Raw, before you knew who Kane was. So we saw them walking to the bus, and Kane had was walking with Paul Bearer, and he had the towel over his head so you couldn't see his face and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool
Cool.
as well. That was some good stuff. I'm not subscribed to the WWE network until they, give me another 99 cent for like 5 month thing
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I would love to, because it's not that expensive. I'd love to go back and watch all the stuff. I don't have enough time to
I
fit
don't
it
pay
all.
for it either. I use Taggart's for that one.
I would definitely love to though go back and see that. I forget. I probably could figure it out when that Raw was.
Oh,
And just
yeah.
watch it again. Just
Yeah, you could easily find that.
maybe even, maybe I was even on the TV at some point. It'd be just funny to see.
There's an episode of ECW of their weekly TV shows back from, it was in 99, the later years of ECW, that was in Cincinnati. And me and my buddy Dave that did Square 2, we went there, and Dave made it on the episode and I did not. And we're like standing like right next to each other, but like it was just cut off to where Dave is on the WWE network and I'm not. That sucks.
That does suck. But you are in what, Shockument? No, what are you in?
I'm on the icy or the twisted the Born Twisted DVD that they put out.
You have some
Yeah.
some connection, and
That was a cool feeling. Like that really was. Like, cause I could like walk past like that DVD at Best Buy and be like, I'm on that. And that was super, that was a super cool feeling.
definitely, yeah, something to be said.
Yeah.
For that, like the
I mean, it was a split second, but like you pause it and like I'm there. Me and my buddies waiting in line to get into the first gathering in 2000.
I didn't realize that's what it was from. That's awesome. I always forget that the first couple gatherings were in like a place. Like
Not a camping thing, yeah.
Yeah.
When we went to Michigan for this little road trip, one of the things that I looked up that I wanted to go to that was ICP related was I wanted to go to the Novi Expo Center where the first gathering was, just to get a picture there. And then I learned that they tore it down a couple years ago. So it's no longer there.
That sucks.
Yeah. I sent that to my buddy that went to that gathering with me. He's like, "Dan, that sucks." But
I'm trying to think if I was ever in anything. I don't think I was.
That's the only example of anything that's like a commercial release that I can like say that I was on.
That's cool. That is definitely cool.
Mhm.
No, because I was thinking about when you were saying with the ECW though, because the typically that was started out as a mostly Philly thing, and I know I forget who was wrestling, but my brother went to when it was really small, like one of the local places by us. It wasn't at the ECW arena or whatever, but it was like some little community center place, and
It's probably what it was.
No, it was
that was one that they frequented during that time.
Maybe it was. No, it wasn't that, because I know it was a place where we played like football or basketball at. I think.
Okay.
We one of the local towns and everything, but I forget who was wrestling, but it ended up pouring out to the streets and everything, and I think he might have been in some of the video clips of it, but it might have been Sandman, might have been one of the wrestlers, which I'll have to ask him next time I see him, but that was cool to see that ECW took off, because I remember watching it local before it became like something as big as it was or whatever. AKA before it was bought by Vince McMahon
and ruined,
because it was Paulie Dangerously, right, was the main guy.
Big phone back in the late 80s. Yeah,
good times again. The 80s, come back to 80s and 90s
to the 80s. That's what you should do, is like an 80s retro podcast of sorts.
Well, that's what I'm trying. I have to sit down and record them.
Although you've already started this new Juggalo cast.
No, I didn't.
Or no, what was the podcast you put up? No, that's Kyle that started the Juggalo podcast.
I'll say, I was like, wow, I'm that good. No, mine was the okay, I'm dropping exclusives here. Mine's it's called the Mind of Smoothie podcast.
I don't remember what you talked about, as terrible as that is.
Thank you. Didn't listen to it.
I listened to it from front to back, and as soon as you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah.
Thriller.
Say it again.
Thriller.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of retro. I mean, that's what I'm going for. My problem is I don't want it to sound like another podcast that I listen to that's very
Is that the one that Aaron compared your intro to?
no, but looking back it does sound like that, but it's completely unrelated. Like I had somebody.
Are you going to release this? Is this going to be something you're going to put out?
What's that? The podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on. Well, Kyle, I mean, I know he's busy. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing him along. I asked for help with the intro.
Kyle takes a minute, and that's all there is. That's whatever.
And it's fine because I know what the end product will be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He just did one for Liz. Liz started up her new podcast. She's 2 episodes deep now. She's going to record her new one tomorrow, and he did the artwork for hers, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I have to go back and listen to them, and I think mine was before. My request was before that, but that's okay. That's
whatever.
Okay. I mean, I guess I could.
Oh yeah, now we got beef between podcasts because her podcast is not a Howdying podcast, so fuck her podcast.
I don't understand. I don't understand. She didn't want that, or it was something else.
That I thought about this myself in my head the other day. I was like, I hope I didn't like assume this incorrectly. I just assumed that she didn't want it to be a Howdying thing, that she just wanted it to be like her own thing, and that she didn't want it, on the same page as this bullshit or whatever.
And that's fair, but it can still be.
I'm not offended even a little bit by it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. We never discussed it, so I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully she comes around.
I should bring that up tomorrow because I don't want to fuck that up. I might have fucked that up. We'll find out tomorrow.
We'll for that, but yeah. So that's my the podcast I'm talking about. The guy is called the Retroist. And the way he does, and that's where it's like it's tough for me because I want to like his format's pretty good. His episodes are only like half hour max. Like that's the max end of it, but like he gives a nice intro story which draws you in, like tying it to his life, whatever he's going to be talking about. Then if it's like a TV show or a movie, kind of just talks about characters and different plot points and like what else you might have seen them in or whatever, like major characters, and just talks about it. So I don't want it to sound like that, but that's like the way I want to go with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
whatever you want to do, like, just because somebody else is doing something similar, who gives a shit?
I don't want it to be a copy of it,
Yeah, I mean, it'll still be yours. Like you're good enough to like make it yours. So
yeah, and I mean, I know nobody's going to be listening to it as much as his. So
yeah,
matter. Yeah, which hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully.
Have you been listening to Kyle's Juggalo podcast?
I haven't sat down to listen to it yet. I'm like behind on. I shouldn't say behind. Like I'm behind on Howdy Radio. I'm behind on even. Well, I typically don't listen to ours all the way. I'll skim through it.
Fuck listening to this show.
What else?
Well, I don't listen to Howdy Radio either, though. So,
but I have to listen to. I'm behind on Iconoclash because he went and changed days on me. Like threw me off completely.
What day is it now?
It's the past couple have been on like Fridays and they've been later. Like it was on like Tuesday. It would come on at like lunch, so I could start it at work. And then
that did not work for me. So I was thinking maybe the new one would, but Friday, no.
It was this week's. It was like Friday. It was about the same time he would do it, like the Tuesday one, but it was. Gotcha. But I'm so far. I mean, I didn't even realize he's in season 3 now. It's not.
I saw that.
It was your season 2. Darn it! If I would have known we were doing the podcast, I would have worn my O'Clashy's shirt or O'Clash's shirt.
Oh yeah, I was gonna wear my Iconoclash shirt next time we did a podcast too, and I forgot.
We'll have to do that in the next one.
Yeah.
hopefully Scott got his shirt, but yeah, I'm so far behind. Like
The
I
new
have
Juggalo one though, that's
I can jump in and
good.
get familiar, caught up with that too, because I do need to fill in the gaps. Like I've been pretty consistent with my podcast listening. Like I have my
That's been my favorite one here lately. I started when I started when they started doing it, but I haven't got the last couple in, and now they're up to Riddlebox, and I'm really
wow.
looking forward to hearing Riddlebox.
I'll definitely have to. Yeah, I'll have to go. I don't know. I don't think I'm subscribed to that on Pocket Cast yet. So I'll have to
Yeah.
add it there to listen. But like my typical podcast listening is on Mondays on the ride home from work. The new Trailer Park Boys podcast is out, so I listen to that on the ride home.
Mhm.
And then Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it's Tuesdays, the CU podcast is released, which is Pat the NES Punk and his buddy. Talk about video game stuff, obviously.
Mhm.
Um,
Speaking of video games, did you see they're releasing Sega Genesis Mini?
I did see that.
Awesome.
And it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Although they've already released one, like it's already a thing.
Yeah, they've done different things, but I think this is an official mini
Correct.
one. Like, I know they've released like ones where you could actually still play Genesis cartridges
Yeah.
in it as well.
But there is also one that's like it's an essentially a mini, but it was like made by like another company called At Games.
Yeah, they do a lot of the.
Apparently that one wasn't very good from what I read, but I think Taggart says he has it and it works okay. So
I think it's what you make of it. I mean, maybe the emulation's not as
Right.
good as it could be. I mean, I was just
the new one has 40 games. They announced 10 of them, and all 10 of them were super solid games. So I'm intrigued.
I'll definitely check it out. Like I was almost, well, I probably could still get a Nintendo and Super Nintendo one.
I know. I keep seeing them pop up on Facebook Market, like for 40 or so dollars used. And I keep thinking like I'm gonna pull the trigger and like actually like contact somebody and buy one of these days. But at the same time, I've like started buying
the
real shit. So like I can't do both.
I like what you're.
I can do both.
I do like what you're going with. What you were saying, you're trying to complete like certain collections, like the
Mhm.
Tony Hawk and everything. I think that's a good way to look at collecting. It's just collecting is such a, especially in video games, such a on trend thing, if you will, right now.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
drives up prices and makes it harder.
All this shit is like an all-time high right now. It's the worst time to be buying shit like this right now. But I'm not sure that it's ever going to go lower than what it is right now, is what I'm thinking.
I think it depends on where the market is at. So like there's certain obviously things you could buy right now. Like if you want to collect PlayStation 3 or 360,
Yeah,
you can get stuff
yes,
cheap right now until that becomes
Yep.
less and less, and then it'll go
Yep.
up and everything. I think it's just finding that right.
But as far as Nintendo and Sega Genesis and N64, even up to like GameCube, like that shit is like skyrocket in value right now.
Oh yeah,
I don't know that it's going to go down because that shit's not going to get any younger. And as we get going, like people's going to have it in their collections and copies are going to start becoming even fewer and far in between. So I don't know that we'll see a price go down.
No, you're right. I would say, but there's also because now I think you're going to be starting to hit a spot where like, for instance, Pat the NES Punk, who he has a complete collection of Nintendo games and everything. And not saying that he's going to sell all his Nintendo, but he's starting to sell like other things. Like he's starting to bleed out his collection, realizing that it's not necessarily his Nintendo. Maybe he'll keep that as his focus, but like all the extra stuff that trying to collect for every system and every game imaginable. Maybe focusing on one specific console and everything.
One of the cool things when we were in Michigan, we went to the Henry Ford Museum, which also just had like a section of like pop culture stuff. And so I walk out of a car museum telling you that I got to see one of the copies of ET that they unburied from the burial site in Las Vegas when they like unburied all of those Atari cartridges.
That's cool.
So I got to see one of those in person at a car museum. That's my takeaway from going to a fucking car museum, is that I saw a copy of ET from the burial site.
That's cool though. I mean that's cool that like that whole story is just very intriguing, that like it was
so cool.
like a lore and legend
Yep.
around that it was actually true.
Mhm.
They recovered the stuff. Like that's so
I love that shit. That's
so cool. I do regret that I did have a couple years ago, my brother was cleaning out our house where I grew up, not cleaning out, but help him get rid of stuff.
Mhm.
And he pulled out our old Atari and he gave it to me.
Nice.
And I sold it. But I had my friend's copy of ET, like the actual
Mhm.
not crushed game, but I sold all that too. But I know who I sold it to, so maybe I'll see if he still has it. If he didn't sell it, maybe try and buy it back from him.
I've had my eye on Atari because I got my little retro gaming area still just involves a Nintendo and a PS2, but I keep wanting to. Sega Genesis is the next one I want to get, but Tyler wants me to get an Atari because he claims that his favorite game ever is Pitfall for Atari. So he wants me to get an Atari 2600 and
Just
a
for
Pitfall. Yeah. Which,
that should be doable.
yeah, I mean, it's not like super expensive to make that happen.
I mean,
but
you can go buy the HD controller one that I just saw in Walmart for $18.88 with Pitfall.
Or you can just play it on every fucking computer in my house and just be happy with that.
That's true, but it's just a certain thing. Like I would honestly like to get an television, which was one of the ones I had growing up.
I feel like I had an Atari when I was growing up, but it's not my most fond console memory. So that's why like Sega Genesis is higher up on that list than an Atari is.
Yeah, I just got rid of I had bought a few years ago on eBay Model 2 Genesis, and I had given it to I had it down here. I had it hooked up for a little bit, and it was just collecting dust, and I wasn't playing. And I had games, so I gave it to my buddy, and he appreciated it because he just had gotten a Sega CD that was the one that was compatible with the Model 2. So that helped him out. And I was like, you know what, you're a collector. I'd rather, instead of trying to see what I can get for it, I'd rather you're gonna use it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather it be here, and when I come over, I can see it at least. And I gave him a whole bunch, like I had Super Nintendo games and stuff. I just like when I was trying to clean out here and everything.
I'm being picky with my Sega Genesis. I need a Model 1 because that's what I had when I was a kid. So now I'm on Facebook Market, and Model 2 and Model 3 is pretty cheap in comparison to Model 1.
Yeah, the Model 1 is
but it's what I want. That's what I had when I was a kid. So that's what I want to have this time around as well.
That's the one I initially had when I was a kid. And which I don't even know, like I'm trying to figure out what the heck happened to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember I don't think it broke. I don't know. And it was before me selling. I'm trying to figure out what happened to the actual
console. As I was a kid, like I remember, like I don't remember what happened to my Nintendo, but I remember that I got rid of my Genesis because I needed money to buy something else or something. It was probably music related at that point. Like I remember selling off all my wrestling figures when I was a kid so I could buy a Metallica box set because I thought that was more important than having wrestlers. It's like, now I'm like, fuck, I really wish I still had all my wrestling figures.
It's like, yeah, like there's like certain like things like I wish I didn't sell or get rid of like that. I mean, I was just looking at my 3DS here, but the the DS that I bought off you with the R4 card and
Oh, yeah.
everything that I ended up selling to get my original 3DS, not the one that I have now. I was like, why did I trade that in?
Yeah. Yep.
Like that was actually just like the whole trade sucks. I wish I
Yep.
kicked myself now because I didn't need to throw that in.
Yep.
I think that DS got me another game.
Yeah.
But I
Me
traded
and
it.
Liz had a conversation a month or so ago because we're trying to get rid of some shit in the house because I mean we have way too much shit. So we're trying to get rid of some shit. And we have, this section of video games. And I said I am at the point now where I am not getting rid of video games. And like she got a couple messages on Facebook like, hey, do you have like this or whatever? And I said, I'm not selling video games because I'm at the point now where I know at some point later I'm going to want to have them again. And I wish I wouldn't have got rid of them in the first place. So I know that anything that I sell is not going to bring in that much money anyway. So I'm not getting rid of video games at this point. I'm just whatever the fuck I have, whether I've played my 2DS in forever, I'm not getting rid of it now.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at now too, because when I got that first 3DS, it was awesome getting it. Like I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but I didn't play it as much. But I traded in my PSP, my initial one that I had, and all the games for that.
Mhm.
Which surprise, I went and got a new one, which I need to replace the screen again. I was looking at it. There's something wrong with it, which is easy, $20. Because I have it modded and everything, so I can play the.
I know I had the modded PSP that I got rid of that I now wish I would not have as well.
Yeah. And it's not even necessarily just to play back. I like that I can at least copy the regular the UMD discs.
Mhm.
And at least so I'm not changing it, so I can just have them all
Mhm.
on one cart because they finally released the
Yeah.
adapters where you could put the SD card in it and everything, get the higher space. But I traded that in all the games. My original PS2 fat.
Yeah.
And all my games, and
I do have the fat PS2. That's what I have hooked up to my TV with the NES now.
I had the soft mod on that where I could play backup games or whatever, or different regions.
Into that, what's the soft mod for the PS2?
I forget. And somebody, former colleague at work, he was a different. He worked for a different. He gave it to me. You run it off the memory card,
Okay.
pretty much, and you just hit like a button on the controller, and it launches into it, and you can play backup copies of games.
DDR probably.
Yeah, but it was very easy. It wasn't. You didn't need the whole.
All right. I didn't even think about looking into that. I guess I should.
I don't know if I still have this because, like I said, it was all just stuff. Like I didn't have to do anything other than copy this stuff onto um some files on the memory card, or no, I think it's actually run off a flash drive too, and
Okay.
the memory card, whatever. But I got rid of that, and like I said, then I was able to get my 3DS, the original one, and the what I get Ocarina of Time, and I was like, well, I want Star Fox too. So that was and I had the DS in my back pocket, and I traded that in too. And I regret not just because I have the R4 for that, and I know I can mod this one, but because that had the ability to play Game Boy Advance games. So
Mhm.
now I don't think the DS could play regular Game Boy games though. So I ultimately now I still want to get a Game Boy Advance SP, which I had at one point.
I have the Game Boy Advance, not the SP.
The
Or which one do I have? It's the square little flip one.
That's the SP.
Okay.
The Game Boy Advance was the one that wasn't backlit necessarily.
Gotcha.
That's the good one to have, and I had one of those as well, and I sold it because honestly, I would like to get one of those, and so I could have be able to play original Game Boy games and advanced games.
I went to Half Price Books, and they have a little retro video game area now, which is super fucking cool that they have that. And they had like a little selection of clearance games, and they had Tetris Attack for the original Game Boy for $1 that I had never played before. And I loved Tetris for Game Boy. Who the fuck didn't have Tetris for Game Boy? But I didn't have Tetris Attack for Game Boy. And it's like a completely different style game. It's like a Dr. Mario ripoff Tetris, which Dr. Mario was a Tetris ripoff, but this is a Dr. Mario.
They took it back.
Yeah. And it's terrible. It's so fucking awful.
So that explains the dollar price tag.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I was bummed too because like I was listening to the I think the CU podcast talked about it, and James, the people at Cinemassacre, the AVGN, but not as AVGN. They were talking about the new Tetris on the Switch or whatever. And then I was like, oh, I want to play Tetris. So then I went to the Nintendo eShop, and it's not there, the original one. I was like, damn it, I had it. And I apparently shortly into the 3DS life cycle, they pulled it off I guess the license ran out or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I was like, crap, I had that on my original DS that I sold everything for, or 3DS that I traded everything in for, but because Nintendo's stupid and doesn't use a universal account,
right?
I can't go back and download. I don't know what account I used for it, so I can't go back and get that.
Nintendo
And now
part 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, I was pissed because I was like, well, I can't play Tetris now.
Yeah, that is shitty.
I was like, I just want to play Tetris. So I had to get the stupid EA version on my phone to settle, which isn't the same. I mean, it's the same, but it's not.
It's not, no. The new Switch Tetris game is really cool. Tetris 99.
Yeah, that's the one that made me want to.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Maybe one day I'll get a Switch. I was looking today. I'm still waiting. Apparently they've announced
2 new versions.
Yeah. Now, from what I've heard, I don't know if this was if this is fact or if this would like one completely just portable. Like,
yeah, that's I said a while back that I thought that would be a good idea because I've played our Switch portable like 98% of the time. So a cheaper version of all portable, I don't think is a bad idea at all.
No, and then that might make me want to jump in. I'd be more
just thing. I mean, there's not a ton of games for it. That is still a problem with it, but there's enough games to get one. I think
I'll eventually want to at least try the Super Mario Odyssey or those games, and but then again, it's like I don't like I know there's the Mario 8 or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or whatever but it's just a
rehash or
the one I already have on the Wii U. I mean, I don't need that because I think the only difference is I don't think there's any different tracks, but I think it has all the DLC that was available, which I have.
Yeah.
Already on the, I purchased that for the Wii U.
When we got our Switch, that game, it was new to us because we didn't do the Wii U. We didn't I think it's the only Nintendo console I've never owned is the Wii U. So that game was new to us, but still, yeah. I mean, it was just
if you've already played it, it's not. And same with like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it takes a little longer to load on the Wii U, but I think
whatever, same game.
I think what I've heard, the graphics are the same. The same. There's no difference in graphics or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it was initially designed for the Wii U,
right?
And they just held it off for whatever reason.
Did you try out that Mortal Kombat beta that you got? Wasn't that you that got invited to that?
No, that was Kyle, I think.
Oh, it was Kyle that got invited to that. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it was Kyle. It was Kyle or Scott. It wasn't me.
Gotcha. This weekend was the beta for it if you pre-ordered the game, but I still never did pre-order the game. So
I'm not in a rush to. I mean, I like Mortal Kombat, but I don't play it enough to. Like,
I'm a pretty big fanboy, but I I don't know. I just hate pre-ordering games.
I'm happy waiting for the $5 version that includes everything. Like I got,
I hear you.
the Mortal Kombat XL because it's still a good game. There's still every time I turn on my PS4, there's new tournaments, and
Yes.
it's not like it's a dying game, and it was a well done game.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no problems.
And there's not a long time between $60 and $5. Like in the grand
No.
scheme of thing, there's really not that big of a difference.
No,
It's not that long of a wait.
I think a lot of the companies now, they get their quick cash on the pre-orders,
Mhm.
and then whatever the first couple weeks, months sell, and then it's time
It's time to make it $5.
to get more people to buy on to it. And
I'll give them $60 on release day because I've done that for Mortal Kombat since day one. But I still don't feel the need to pre-order it though.
no, it's
I don't want to give in to that side of things.
I have so many games that I need to still play through that
What have you
thought-
been playing lately? Anything good lately?
Black Ops 4, like I said, because of I don't really have time to sit down and play. Like I was playing, well, last week I was playing, I got the Xbox had like a 2 month for like 99 cent Game Pass thing. So I did that just so I could play Crackdown 3. So I was playing, Crackdown 3 a little bit.
Mhm.
But other than that, when I typically jump on, I'm either playing I mean I got Siege and I was playing that for a little bit. I got Modern Warfare, the original, so we could play together, and then I fell into that trap and was playing that a lot. But like today I played like a couple hours of Black Ops 4. Just team deathmatch, none of the other fancy things. Just wanted to jump in,
Mhm.
shoot some stuff, stream it just because I can, and do that. But it's
that Modern Warfare game.
yeah, that's
Both. We suck at playing games together. All of us do.
well, we did good with what did we Anthem, right? That was when we
And
played demo.
Apex Legends we played once or twice.
I didn't play Apex Legends. That was the whole debacle when we were all trying to.
Yeah.
Nobody had X, Y, and Z game downloaded
Right.
at the same time, so we just played whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that day I was playing Black Ops 4, but that was fun. I mean, it was still fun just being on the chat together, the party chat. But playing the game would be more.
I got Elder Scrolls Online on my PC. I've been playing that a little bit this week, and it's all right. It's not like great.
Well, you missed out on the other sales, right? The Rainbow Six sales.
I did, yeah. I was waiting to get back from vacation on the Rainbow Six sale, and then I got back, and then it was not on sale. I don't want to spend a regular price because I know it'll go on sale again probably next month or something.
Well, it sucks. It sucks though. I was bummed because you can't use a controller for it.
Yeah, that does suck.
I have to, and now I had mentioned in the our chat that my friend who I gave the Sega to, he gave me a gaming keyboard, and by that, like it actually has. Hold on a second, let me see how close it is to me. Here, let me go behind the curtain.
Oh shit!
Hold on.
Oh boy! Oh my god! What is happening? Smoothie ass. Oh yeah. Oh, messed up the top of the green screen.
Well,
It's falling down now.
oh, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, he gave me a bunch, like the other Sunday, like he like said he had like this, gave me this 24-inch monitor, and he gave me a USB like arcade stick,
Nice.
which is pretty cool. But then he gave me this, I didn't know about this keyboard, and by gaming it like has
Oh, okay.
like that, and I never
Yeah.
seen it. So I guess I can use that to move and everything. It kind of breaks it out separate. So which I'm glad for, but I still would like to use a controller. And then I tried out because I got in that sale, I got Vegas 1, 2, and Rainbow Six 3.
Mhm.
And I Rainbow Six says use Xbox 360 controller layout, but I have a wired Xbox One controller, so it doesn't quite work
Gotcha.
the same way. And I don't know if I can. I'm sure I could probably find some layout thing through Steam to get it working, but like it was like super sensitive and everything. I was like, I can't play this either. What the hell? So I was bummed because
Sorry, I'm yawning.
sorry.
I think there's some third-party software that you can use even on games that don't accept controllers, that you can make a controller a keyboard essentially and use it that way.
Yeah, that I did see that even with Rainbow Six Story. So I have to play around with it some more, but I didn't get.
Yeah, I'll get them next time they go on sale for sure. But I've kind of liked playing Elder Scrolls Online this week. Like it's not, I don't know. So far, it's been kind of boring, and I hope it kind of picks up a little bit, and I think it will. I'm still kind of in like the early like kind of tutorial stages almost, even though I'm like 5 hours into it. But
So now is that more of a MMO type game though? Like
but I've been just playing solo because so far it's been a solo experience so far. It's been like go here and talk to this person, go here and talk to this person, which is what's kind of made it a little bit boring. But I know it's an Elder Scrolls game, so I can like branch off and do all kinds of cool shit, but I just haven't got to that point yet, I guess. But like it hasn't like sucked me in like I really want to keep playing this game yet. But I'm trying to stick with it because I'm hoping that it does get to that point.
It's I've never. I mean, I played Oblivion. I played Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
I've never sat and played through them.
Yeah,
if you will. Like I've played a little bit and I get so far, and then I just won't.
I played the shit out of both of those, and then once I got the new computer, I was like, I can play some decent stuff. So I was like, for some reason, I wanted to try like a big, like MMO type game just to try something different. And I was like, well, Elder Scrolls will probably be the one that I would like the most because I like the single player games of that. So there was that or Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Online was one that I looked into as well because that one looks really cool. But that one has a monthly subscription that you have to pay for, and no reason for that.
You don't need another subscription.
Nope. For a game that I probably won't put enough time into.
Right. That's the thing with just having too many. I wish I could dedicate more time to gaming, and I would love to go like in my head. I haven't committed to this yet, but like I was like, I'd like to use my 3DS more, and fortunately, like I said, Casey, he's really not into games all that much, which is fine. You know, I'd rather him not spend like his time on games.
Yeah,
or
we're very opposite there, where my kids are like, that's all they want to fucking do.
You know, occasionally it would be nice to be able to play with him and everything, but we got him like one of the Kirby games, and I got him Luigi's Mansion for his 3DS and everything. So like, I was like, if you want to sell your 3DS, fine. It's not, he has the 3DS XL, but it's not the new one. I was like, you can have the money, but it's like you're not selling the game, so I'm going to keep the games to play. So like that's why that was even out. I was playing the Kirby game that we got him. But because I was in the store, I was like, I'd like to, play this, and was looking at the selects. I was like, oh, there's quite a few games. They have Majora's Mask. I can add that. Eventually, I'll finish Ocarina of Time. Buy back Star Fox 64, which was
all of these games that will eventually play through one of these days.
Yeah. So,
I finally beat Sonic Mania, which I was super happy about.
Yeah, I remember you posting that. So, and that was another one of the games we got for him. We had the Sonic collection for the regular. Well, I mean, he bought it, but for the regular DS, so I was playing that as well.
Love those games.
Through that, so that's just too many things. But like I like the fact that I can sit with like the 3DS or even like the Vita and I'm not taking up a TV and I could still be in the same room, but I could pop on or
So
whatever.
now it's time to get a Switch, so at least you can play some of the current games that way too.
Right, and that would be so that's I'm anxious or curious to see, like, if it is definitely a cheaper, portable only one.
We're at the point where all of these fucking people are going to start releasing new versions every year or every other year or something.
That's true. I mean, because what the Xbox is, they're going to release the all digital
Right.
one, which thinking now, which is a perfect idea, especially with the Game Pass, because it's like you buy the Game Pass and you buy, you have your live subscription, of course, but that's like you're ready to go.
Yeah, you can buy Xbox. You can do the yearly live, so you can get those 2 games a month that way. You can do the Game Pass, and you can do EA Access and never have to buy a physical game ever, and still have way more games than you could ever play ever.
Yeah, so that's not a bad bad gig right there. But yeah, there's just too many. Like I still need to get on getting I would like to get an 8 terabit drive for this computer here. And then take this 2 terabyte one or 3, whatever it is that I have, and put that for because I need one for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So I've used up all that space.
Yeah, I built this computer and I put in like a 250 gig solid state for the operating system, which is fucking awesome, by the way. That's new to me.
That's what I hear is the solid state's the way to go.
I restarted my computer earlier and like it still blows me away how fast it restarts. And then I put in 1 terabyte internal, just regular hard drive. I was like, all right, this is going to kind of be like my Steam drive. And like it's already almost full. And we've only had this thing for like a fucking month.
It's crazy. It's that is the only downside to all digital.
Games are huge.
It's
Elder Scrolls was like 90 something gig. And that's becoming kind of regular, is around 100 gig.
It's and that's easily a 1 terabyte thing. That's only 10 games,
and
that's not including updates. The update files that they throw in there, because that's usually what ends up doing it for me. It's like, oh, we can install this update because you're out of space. I mean, until they get it to
and you compare that to the goddamn memory card you put in your PlayStation that was literally 1 fucking megabyte.
Yep. And you had all those files.
And it saved all those game files.
Like it makes you wonder, like, why does it need, like, is it just for speed's sake or just to save on wear and tear? Like, why does it need to install the whole game? Like, why do you have to have that
I mean, speed is, I know, a part of it because it's quicker to read from a hard drive than it is to read from a disk, but you can fit so much shit on a disk and they don't put anything on the disk anymore. It's just basically an installer for what it's going to put on your disk drive.
I think once they figure out and with current gen stuff, the cloud based, I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, so Google announced their cloud based gaming service, and did Apple as well, or did Apple just announce a TV service?
I think they're, from that one podcast I was listening to, they announced something. I don't know if it was for the TV, but it was, or no, I think it was for games as well, but it was more so like mobile, strictly mobile, like like a premium charge for all these, like a monthly subscription for all these games.
Google's trying to do like a PlayStation Now kind of thing,
but with their own titles, or
no, like with they want to compete with Sony and And Microsoft, as far as a living room console, but not a console, because you don't need a console. You don't need, all of the specs and everything, because it's all streaming. So
But what would you be using?
I don't know.
See, that's
There's controllers for it, but it's probably like a Bluetooth controller that I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you.
we'll have to keep.
But they're talking like there are like AAA titles. It's not just like Angry Birds or Candy Crush or whatever. Like it's real games like the Xbox Game Pass delivers, but streaming.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that, because I mean, it seems like, especially with the Xbox Switch crossover, it just seems like it's eventually you're going to come to the point where you're going to pay for a company service, if you will, I would assume, but regardless of what hardware you're using. It'll be like, oh, get the Nintendo Switch service on your PS4. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because from what I've gathered with the Xbox piece on the Switch, you're going to be able to play Xbox Game Pass type games on your Switch.
Okay.
So that's from what I've gathered and assuming, but they've formed that partnership. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so now I can play my
Weird
Xbox
time
game.
for gaming right now because of that shit, but it's kind of cool that it's, I don't know, we're starting to get to something new, to where it's not just going to be a new hardware console released every 5 years or whatever. We're on the verge of something very new.
It's software and streaming. That's what it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
That is what it is.
I'm ready for the new generation of consoles, though.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Like, I'm hoping that I mean, a lot of, and not saying that this is confirmed or anything, but a lot of people are speculating that, like, what Microsoft did, the partnership they formed with Nintendo, that they're going to pull away from the physical hardware piece. Like, you can play Xbox games on your computer. I mean, it's Windows based, so it's not like you need a dedicated thing, and they're going to focus more on software or services rather. But I'm curious to see the PS5, if it's, I know patents have been filed for different things, but if it's truly a backwards
I love that.
compatible system, I will definitely
Yeah.
be happy with that, especially if it covers 1 through
Mhm.
5. If I can play all my games on
That's
there.
huge, I think. But then there was like there was an article I read that said that the new president of PlayStation or something kind of talked negatively about the whole backwards thing, and he was like, why would anybody want to play those old shitty games when you can play the new ones? So like now people are worried that they're not going to include that in the PS5, but I don't know.
Because of nostalgia, because, like, obviously the new president didn't do his homework and see what
Exactly, right?
your company just released, which, albeit it failed, a
Right.
classic console, because people
People want nostalgia.
and it was poor execution on Sony's part.
Yeah, they fucked that up terribly.
But if they nailed that the way it should have been, they would have been another successful thing, because people want the old games.
And how did they I mean, really, like, how did they fuck that up as bad as they fucked that up?
They
Sony knows what they're doing, and they fucked up their PlayStation Classic just like they didn't give a shit.
Well, I think, and maybe it's to what the new president was saying. It's, they care about their current system, like their biggest seller. I That's my opinion, but, like, you look at what
If you're gonna put it out and do it right.
they screwed up the. I mean, if you look at their history, they screwed up the PSP by not including dual stick. You know, for starters, and then they finally got it to a place where people were buying it, and then they stopped supporting it. then they released the Vita, which had the thing and had great capabilities, capable of running PlayStation 3 games,
Yeah.
if you will, but they never
Never did
explored that.
anything with it at all.
You know, and they finally did it for PlayStation 4, but then at that point, it's only you could have, in essence, they stopped supporting it and considered it a dead console or whatever. But you could have literally boxed it in with the PlayStation 4, just if you're going to use it as a controller and or a remote play device. But they don't seem to they seem to jump in but not fully execute.
Yeah. They give up really quick, but they didn't execute it like the classic. They didn't execute well to begin with.
No, very
Apparently
well.
now though it's highly moddable, and apparently the mod makes it great.
Yeah,
But
you can do what you need to do. I don't know how aesthetically it is, but I mean, I know that was one of the complaints. It was just very bare, very basic.
Mhm.
Um, the UI on it,
Yeah.
and then the game choices, of course, weren't
Yeah.
there. But I think now, like when I was at Walmart today, I was contemplating at $55, buying it just for that reason to see what I could get on there.
Yeah.
And do just to add it, but and make it my own.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much left up to the modding community, the homebrew, if you will,
Yeah.
whatever.
Which I
community.
love that shit. I love tinkering with that kind
Yeah,
of
and they made it what it should have been.
yeah.
So it's
But
kind of like
shouldn't Sony have done that to begin with?
they should have, and they should have done that with like again, like the Vita being the biggest example. Like I still, for the life of me, and I've ranted about this before with the Switch, but like the whole memory card thing and the fact that they're still like you're charging almost $100 for 32 gigs of memory. You can get a 32 gig SD card for like $5. It's why stop what we understand what you're trying to do with proprietary things, but like that's ridiculous, especially when you can get this. Nobody wants to pay all that
also
money.
ridiculous what Nintendo charges for their accessories for the Switch too.
Yeah, they do have the
Their controllers, everything for the Switch is super fucking expensive. But at least you can use a micro SD card.
you can use anything, but of course they do try and sell the branded ones for but it's like, I'll just get the same thing that's not Nintendo brand for $20-$30 cheaper than you're trying to sell it. But the thing with Nintendo, even as much as I ranted about it, people are willing to pay for it. Like they know they're not. It's not poor execution on their part because they know that people are going to buy it. They can get away with it, whereas Sony couldn't. You tried that with the PSP and the Memory Stick Duo.
Right.
And then finally, when you released them, or when they released them, where you could have an SD card put into, an adapter, but you couldn't do that with the small, stupid memory for the Vita.
Yeah, that shit's stupid. All right, wrap this one up, man. I'm ready. I'm done.
Yeah.
Ready for bed.
It is. It's 22, episode 28. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
It was a good episode. We laughed. We cried. We learned a little bit.
And we listened to a lot of Eminem in the car on our trip to Michigan. Mostly the Slim Shady LP. And my God, that is not kid friendly or anything person friendly, human being friendly. There was a few times where I was like, I should not be listening to this with my kids right now. This is fucked up, but I did.
That's all right.
Yeah.
They're better people for it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that's going to do it for
Liz said, can we listen to something less rapey now? Because
that's when you should have put in ICP.
Oh man, I fucked that one up.
See? It's a little less rapey.
Yeah. But that first Eminem album is very rapey. It really was.
Here's to you, Slim Shady. and your LP. But yes, that's going to do it for episode number 28 of the Unknown Podcast. I think Scott has something built in that says everything, but I'm not sure. So, Brandon, where can we find you at?
Captain Howdy 1027 on the Twitter and the Instagram.
And you can find me at INC_smoothie on Twitters and the Instagrams, and I'm on other places too. You can look me up there. YouTube, INC Smoothie Entertainment. I've been posting a video here or there, some fresh stuff up on there. Check out the unknownpod.com for the recent episodes and all the things to do with the Unknown Podcast, as well as what is it? What weird Instagram is it that we
stopped using? I don't know.
But you can find us on Instagram. It's like Pod the Unknown or something like that.
Yep.
This is where we need Scott because he's the one who came up with it. Unknown Pod on Twitter.
Yep.
And howdyinc.com for all things Howdy.
There you go.
And that's going to do it for your boy Smoothie and your Captain Howdy.
Oh, yeah.
We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for listening as always. And hopefully we'll see you a little bit sooner rather than later on the next one.
See you in 6 months.
Ooh, stay smooth. All right. That was good. It was good. It's long, good, but we did good.
I enjoyed it.
Just the two of us, you and I. All right, let me stop that. To those of you tuned into the live broadcast, we are stopping that now. We'll see you on the next
one. XX Anger Japanese symbol. Crazy guy in the chat room said, "Suh, dude."
That's it.
That's it.
Suh, dude, to you. And we said, dude, you.
With crazy Japanese symbols as his name.
Keep Japanese and on.